Everyone talks about strength, about muscles, about bravery, about victory. But the Vikings didn't build warriors with comfort. They built them with storms, cold seas, hunger, uncertainty. While other civilizations feared the ocean, Vikings sailed directly into it. Not because they were fearless, but because they believed something powerful. Fear is not the enemy. Avoiding it is. This is the story of the Viking mindset and why courage turned small northern tribes into one of the most feared forces in history. When people imagine Vikings, they see axes, long ships, beards, battle cries. But the real Viking weapon was not the axe. It was the mindset behind it. Vikings believed life itself was a battlefield, and every day was preparation. Viking lands were not gentle. Long winters, freezing winds, violent storms. Comfort rarely existed. Survival required strength. From childhood, Viking boys were trained to endure hardship. They learned to fight. They learned to sail. They learned to survive. Because weakness had no place in the north, Vikings believed something powerful. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. When storms destroyed ships, they rebuilt them. When enemies resisted, they fought harder. When journeys seemed impossible, they sailed anyway, because hesitation was more dangerous than the ocean itself. The Viking longship changed history. Fast, flexible, built for rivers and oceans, these ships allowed Vikings to travel farther than most civilizations ever imagined. Across England, across France, across Russia, across the Atlantic. Their ships were not just transportation, they were symbols of exploration and courage. Vikings did not fight alone. They fought as a brotherhood. A warrior protected the man beside him. Trust was everything. Just like Spartan warriors, unity created strength, and strength created victory. Viking culture removed one of humanity's biggest limitations: fear of death. They believed dying bravely in battle meant entering Valhalla. This belief changed everything. When fear disappears, courage becomes natural, and fearless warriors become unstoppable. Today, the world looks different. Most people avoid discomfort. They seek convenience. They wait for motivation. But Vikings lived differently. They didn't wait for courage. They practiced it. Every storm, every voyage, every battle. Vikings understood something modern people often forget. Growth lives outside comfort. Storms create stronger sailors. Battles create stronger warriors. Challenges create stronger minds. Without hardship, strength never develops. But Viking strength was not just about battle. It was about preparation. Before every voyage, they repaired their ships. Before every raid, they sharpened their weapons. Before every journey, they prepared their minds. Because Vikings understood something simple: luck favors the prepared. A careless warrior dies quickly. A disciplined warrior survives. Preparation created confidence, and confidence created courage. Viking leaders also believed in leading from the front. A Viking chief did not hide behind soldiers. He fought beside them. He sailed with them. He faced the same dangers they did. Because leadership without sacrifice creates no loyalty, but leadership through action creates warriors willing to follow you anywhere. Viking culture also respected skill. A warrior had to prove himself. Strength mattered, but so did intelligence, navigation, shipbuilding, strategy. The greatest Vikings were not just fighters. They were explorers, builders, leaders, and thinkers. Their journeys changed the map of the world. They reached England. They reached France. They traveled through rivers deep into Europe. Some even reached North America, centuries before Columbus. And all of this started with a simple mindset: go where others are afraid to go. Think about that for a moment. Every great achievement in history started with someone willing to face uncertainty, someone willing to leave safety behind, someone willing to try what others feared. That was the Viking spirit. And it still matters today. Today, the battlefield is different. It may be your career, your studies, your ambitions, your personal struggles. But the principle remains the same. Growth begins where comfort ends. When things become difficult, most people stop. But history remembers the ones who continue, the ones who push through storms, the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who keep sailing forward, just like the Vikings did. History rarely remembers the comfortable. It remembers the courageous, the ones who sailed into the unknown, the ones who faced storms instead of avoiding them, the ones who refused to live small lives. Vikings believed that life was meant to be lived boldly, not safely, not quietly, but with courage. Because courage creates stories, and stories create legacy. That is why centuries later, people still speak about the Vikings. Their legacy was not built in comfort. It was built through storms, battles, and relentless courage. Every voyage into the unknown strengthened their spirit. Every challenge made them harder. Every risk made them braver. Because Vikings believed that a life without challenge was a life without meaning. They refused to live small lives. They chose adventure, they chose struggle, they chose courage. And that choice is what turned ordinary warriors into legends remembered for centuries, not because they were perfect, but because they were fearless in the face of uncertainty. And maybe that lesson still matters today. History remembers the Vikings, not because they were safe, but because they were courageous. They sailed into uncertainty. They faced storms. They chose challenge over comfort. And that mindset built legends. Because the Viking story was never just about conquest. It was about courage. It was about the willingness to move forward when others stayed behind, to face storms when others waited for calm seas, to take risks when others chose safety. That mindset shaped generations of warriors, and it left behind a lesson that still matters today. Greatness is never built in comfort. It is built through challenge, persistence, and courage. Now the question is simple. Are you avoiding difficulty? Or are you growing through it? Because every challenge you face is training your mind, just like the Vikings trained theirs. And if this Viking lesson strengthened your mindset, a like, a share, or a subscribe might just be your modern way of choosing courage in a comfortable world.